After BN3's successful static fire, it gets stripped of its manhood, and the Raptors look like they're returning to McGregor. Today, on location at Starbase. Headlining today is the fact that after the successful static fire of BN3, SpaceX engineers removed all three of the Raptors from underneath the BN booster. Now, that's not necessarily news, as that was reported on Tuesday's show, but what is news is the Raptors just got loaded onto a truck, and it looks like all three of those Raptors, BN59, BN61, and 62, are all being put back into McGregor's test facilities, likely to go undergo some more testing and just make sure that they're all right before any other future reuses, or possibly they were destroyed. We don't really know. They're just Raptors sitting way over there, so always exciting. Also today, we got new Raptors delivered. 2 new Raptors came into the site on the very same truck that BN3's Raptors are going to be leaving. These Raptors were unable to be identified, unfortunately. We couldn't quite see exactly what numbers they were, but we do know that they will be used very shortly for that orbital test. SpaceX decided to take a little bit of a risk and see exactly what a brand new Starship that has a fairing attached might look like. They decided to cut a whole big hole in a big nose cone for a Starship just to see what the test fitting might look like. Now, Elon said that this is just a rough test. Dimensions are not final. And actually, it looked like this morning, unfortunately, that nose cone looks like it collapsed. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have any of my cameras rolling at the moment, but I did see it, and I'm not sure if other people caught that, so be on the lookout for that around the internet. But it does look like that, unfortunately, collapsed. Didn't see any ambulances or anything, so it doesn't look like anyone was hurt, so that's a good thing. Go SpaceX for team safety. Elon also said that they might consider taking the Hubble Space Telescope out of orbit whenever it is ready to retire. Now, this is probably the most exciting news for me today, because I love the Hubble Space Telescope. It has been part of my childhood for as long as I can remember, and ever since the space shuttle program ended and the thought that the Hubble Space Telescope might just burn up in the atmosphere was always a little bit sad to me. So it's exciting to hear that Elon is at least considering the idea of returning the monumentally historic Hubble Space Telescope back to the Earth to be placed in a museum for all of the world to see. I will definitely be looking forward to that museum exhibit. And we have a ton of news on the orbital launch tower's catching arms, which are currently being built out on the orbital launch site. Now, we're not exactly sure what these are going to look like still, but we're fairly certain that all of these black pipe sections that we've been seeing are being welded together into some kind of frame to help catch the returning booster. Now, we're not really exactly sure if this is the case, but it can't really be anything else at this point. SpaceX has been delivering these new pieces just about 2 every single day, and it's exciting to see the crews be able to weld these and get these big pieces of equipment into place very fast. Part of that speed is SpaceX always running around the clock, and last night was no exception. SpaceX had teams working around the clock last night, making sure that inspections were being done, welding of certain materials, and oh yes, they were even stacking parts of the 9th orbital tower segment. It's exciting to wake up and see a completely different landscape in the morning from when you went to bed. It's just so fun to see how fast SpaceX moves. And finally, a beautiful night down at the SpaceX launch facility as a full moon was seen all across the launch site all evening last night. It was so cool to be able to take pictures and see exactly what it looks like where we're going, hopefully from that pad. All right, that's it for today at Starbase. Be sure to like and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at Nicky and Sweeney, and Talos of Space at Talos of Space, and this channel at Today at Starbase. Godspeed.